It's going to be a bit of a different video today. I'm not monetizing this. I'm not putting any music, sound effects, reaction GIFs, because this is something that's huge. And people throughout the whole of the Toku community will be feeling it. There'll be some people who feel very affected by this, because it's a lot. But ultimately, the Japanese entertainment industry has failed Maya. And this isn't the first time it's happened, and it probably won't be the last, unfortunately. It's not just about the alcohol and the underage drinking, it's about so much more. Maya Imamori has been dealing with so much since she became Goju Unicorn. From the very get-go, she's had to deal with so much more than any of us ever knew. And it may have affected why she did the crime, which is underage drinking at 19. But we're never going to know the full story. So we've got to look at a bit of the timeline, I guess. I just want to talk about it. Like, I've struggled for so long to think of the right words, to think of the right thing to say, to think of her, but also the people or the companies involved. And for some reason, it affected me so much more, and it's affected everybody in the community. Because, one, she is Goju Unicorn. Everyone loves Goju Unicorn. Goju Unicorn is this badass female who is the only female on the team, may I add. But she's also the inquisitive type. She's the brave, the strong, looking for her sister through the whole show, which has been her greatest selling point. She is an older sister. She's lovable. She won't deal with the bullshit of the world. She is powerful. But then that is just the character. Maya herself has had to deal with so much. And so have so many females in the community. It's not just stardom and fame and fortune that comes with a toku role, especially in this Japanese industry. There's so much more. And though she had committed a crime, underage drinking in Japan, well, any crime in Japan is taken very seriously, but underage drinking, it's a weird one. It's definitely a weird one. But it's not all that's happened here. And people are saying it's her fault, she shouldn't have drank, she shouldn't have done all this stuff. But as I said before, there's so much more happening here. But let's go to the beginning, since she joined the team, because I think that will draw this picture out a little bit better for those who don't know. Ever since she joined the team, she has been the punching bag of rumors, scandals, hate, discrimination, for one, being Filipino, or half Filipino, sorry, and two, for being a woman. And I know I'm going to have loads of people in the comments going, Kezza's talking about women again, and the treatment of women, but this is exactly what I've been talking about this whole time with the skirt video. This is what I've been talking about. This is the epitome of what I've been talking about through my channel. And I hope people who watch my content listen. First off, again, she's half Filipino. So what? So what? She's half Japanese, half Filipino, but because of that discrepancy in her DNA, there is so much hate for her. You would think in 2025 we're past this, but we're not. But maybe it's a cultural thing. Maybe it's a traditional thing. I was going to say maybe it's a Japanese thing, but I know so many people in Japan who probably don't think this way. But there are a lot of Japanese fans who have seen this as a source of contentment, a source of pain, a source of hatred for her. I will never get it. I will never get it. But maybe that's because I was, as many people like to say, I'm just English, I'm not Japanese, I won't get that kind of hatred or the cultural differences, the cultural divides. But I've been to Japan, I love the country, I love the stuff that they make, but maybe this is a difference that I will never get. But I know it's not everybody. And that's the thing with hatred. Everyone who has a hatred against some particular group of people, they're always like, oh, it's all of them. It's not. It's not. And that's what I don't get when it comes to these type of hatred things. I'm babbling now, But may I remind everybody that this isn't the first time that a actress in Sentai, and I don't know about Kamen Rider, but definitely Sentai, it's not the first time an actress in Sentai has been ridiculed or hated because she's half Japanese and half something else. I can't remember the exact one, but I remember talking about them in my skirts video, where because she was half American, people didn't like her, or she couldn't communicate with the directors properly or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but the fact that this isn't the first time, and it probably won't be the last, is so sad. I mean, there have been some British and American actors who have joined, like Kyoryu Cyan, and obviously in Kamen Rider Geats we had the two Western editions, I guess you could say, and Tom Constantine being from England, Liverpool, which I think is really, really cool. So they have had actors from different cultures and stuff, but when it's part of the main team, it's seen, maybe they got hate, I don't know. Did they get hate for being different? I don't know. What I'm saying is that it won't be the last time, and it's not the first time this has happened, which is sad to think. I think there was also another one, actually. There was one that died, one of the characters that died, and she left the team, and then there was another one who got into an accident, someone replaced her, and she left the team willingly. But something that's quite ironic is that both of them were in trousers when it happened, and then they got replaced with people who wore really tight shorts. I'm just saying, my video has a point. But moving on to the second thing that's been happening behind the scenes, and people love to push the blame onto her about onto Maya, is the scandals, the affair that's apparently happened, where there's no footage or evidence that it's happened. But apparently Maya, at the beginning of the show, was having an affair with a married man. This affair happened with Goju Wolf's suit actor. And I remember people being like, a young woman ruining a grown man's life. A lot of times, I'm not saying it's every time, but a lot of times in these kind of situations, she would be the victim here, right? It's not always the woman's fault. Also, where were the egregious posts and hate for the man who cheated on his wife? It's always the female that gets the hate. Why isn't it the male? Why didn't the male get the same kind of treatment? She could be a victim here. But no, everyone's decided that she's the villain. Why? Why does that happen? There's this double standard with this. The Goju Wolf actor, body actor, got away with maybe a slap on the hand behind the scenes, nothing more. And then when he left the studio or left the whole production, he left with we thank you for your service for this character and all that you've done. He is stepping away because he's having a physical emergency, or he's had an injury. And he got away with a gracious end to his time on the show. He wasn't kicked out for having an affair. Not that I know of. There was nothing like that in it. But he got to walk away scot-free with a thank you for your service. We're going to miss you. But he was the other person involved in that affair, by the way. It's always two people, not just one. So why is she getting all the hate for something that she probably even didn't do? There was no evidence. Where's the evidence for that? No one knows. And because of all this, she was harassed, hated, bullied online for something that she probably didn't do. And the people that came up with this wild theory or wild scandal that was meant to pull her down was a tabloid in Japan who has been trying to get hate, search the internet, scouring for any dirt that they can get on her to drag her down. Now, I'm not going to say, but this sounds like something that's happened in the Toku community before. Just for hate, just to drag someone down, just to spite people. This isn't the first time, and it won't be the last. And going back to Maya, maybe this is all because she is a woman, and people love to drag down a woman. Might just be my own opinion on that. But considering the hate, the scandals, the rumours, just to drag her down, why? Why? And now for the crime that she committed. She drank underage. Yes, she did the crime. In Japan, it is definitely a crime. Underage drinking. But It's interesting. I don't see it as a crime. In Japan, it's definitely a crime to underage drink. But there's so much more to this. There's so many, many things that everyone is trying to forget. For me, personally, as a British citizen, she didn't do a crime. Underage drinking happens everywhere, whenever. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it happens. It's how you control it and deal with it. In England, for example, if we're comparing it, and not many people want me to compare, but I'm going to compare. In the UK, the age is 18. So in my eyes, she didn't do a crime. She never did a crime. In America, I know that the age for drinking, underage drinking, is 21. To become legal to drink is 21. So a year above Japan. But then in Japan, obviously, it's 20. But the thing that's wild to me is that with all these differences in law, in America, you can buy a gun at 16. Yes, I'm bringing that into this. At 16, you can buy a gun. At 21, you can drink in America. It just feels wild that that's the range. In England, well, we don't sell guns that I know of, that I've had access to. And I don't think we do have access to guns just off the shelf. But in England, the age is 18. In Japan, the age is 20. But the age of consent is 16. And that is the wild thing for me. At the age of 16, you can do adult videos. You can sell your body. That is not me judging. And in a culture that is so drink heavy, where drink work-life culture is literally after work, you go and have a drink with your bosses, because that's the work-life culture in Japan. But you can't drink until you're 20. You have you can be an adult when it comes to your own body and your own choices that you do with your own body. But when it comes to drinking, no. And especially in a culture that is so heavy on drinking and sex. But there's this weird in-between. And I've had so many people being like, you can't talk about another culture's rule set. You can't talk about another culture's way of life because you're English, you're white, you can't do that. But you can still be angry when you see a young woman who is 19, who is 4 months from being legal to drink, being dragged down for one mistake that might have not been her fault. Like, the thing is here, I actually looked this up. If you drink in Japan, underage, a lot of the time you do get in trouble, or sometimes you don't. And the people who are selling you the drink, or not IDing you, or supplying it, will be arrested or fined more. Isn't that wild? That the people supplying it would be the ones who did wrong here. Not just her. Not just the person underage. Well, how did she get the alcohol? That's my question. How did she get the alcohol? Why do you think she was drinking? Why do you think she was drinking? Maybe because of the harassment, the hate? Possibly? I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's right to underage drink. But for someone who has had so much hatred, so much misogyny thrown at her, so much racism thrown in her face, and she wanted one evening to just relax, I don't know. Like, it gets so complicated. But also, who supplied her the drinks? How did she get it? How was she able to supply it to her? Also, there are people acting like she's run over someone, like she's killed a man. But no, she had one drink. And also, some people are saying like she's had so much. If this is going to affect her, if her drinking is going to be this bad. No one's shown evidence to the affair. No one's shown, back to the drinking, no one's shown evidence of her drinking. No one's shown evidence of how much she drank. There was nothing about how much she drank. It was just she drank, and that was it. How much did she drink? If she was an alcoholic, I would understand. But from the stuff that she does on TV and seeing everything that she does out of it, I don't think she's an alcoholic. I think she had a sip, probably a glass of wine. And coming back to the comparisons, in the UK, you can technically drink if your parents buy it for you. You can drink if your parents give you a little bit of alcohol. You can be like, oh, have a try. It's buying it when it's 16, 18, or 20, or 21. So, but it's just crazy to me, going through all this babbling. Sorry, I'm going back to that. It's crazy to me that there are people who will hate her for having a drink at 19 when she's 4 months from being legal. but then are excited to see her do adult content from now on. I've seen so many comments being like, oh, I can't wait to see what she does after this in the adult industry. So you're treating her like a child for someone who drank too early. But then you can't wait for the age of consent, that is 16, for her to do all of this adult stuff, all this content, to do adult things for your pleasure. Disgusting. Actually disgusting. And I think that's another difference of cultures. And also entertainment for toku actors. For example, the males of toku will go into BL content or other dramas, depending on what they're comfortable with. But females are expected to go into idol culture, to go into the adult industry, to take lingerie photos for people to collect. And that's considered normal. That's considered normal for people to enjoy or to expect from them. And I've seen so many YouTube videos like advertised being like, look at the lingerie that they wear. Doesn't mean it's right. Also with laws, can I just say that there are so much hypocrisy, hypocritical laws like this, where at 16, age of consent is okay, but drinking not till 19, especially in a country with entertainment culture being so full of drinks and so full of sex. If you were in that situation where you were hated every day, where you were called out with racial undertones, if you were called out for your body and the sexual desires that a woman and male people, like females and males and everyone in between has, to be scandalous, hateful, disgusting, because you want to have a drink, like no wonder she was drinking. And let's just be honest, just because a law says something doesn't mean it's correct. I think seeing every country at the moment go into war and go into hate and go into spirals of hating people, hating your neighbors, I don't think any law could be correct at this point in time when it has such hateful undertones like that, or controlling undertones. You don't have to tell me. I understand I'm not Japanese, and maybe I won't understand the laws, but I understand when a woman is being used for just her body, being neglected by her agency, who should have been side by side with her, and by the company that she was working for, and by the entertainment industry who's been hounding her to get rid of her. Now let's actually talk about the agency, actually. The agency is a very interesting part. Toei also being an interesting part in this, and also the tabloid being very interesting in this. So everyone is blaming everybody, or nobody, or her. But the real blame, for me, goes a little bit on Toei, but mainly on her agency and the tabloid that's been trying to drag her down. Toei, unfortunately, is in a contractual obligation to not show her face anymore. They erased her with AI, which is already like, come on, Toei. But they had to do it, unfortunately, because of the rights to her likeness, which is only owned by her agency. And I understand by Toei having to do this, but as a fan also, it feels so scummy. I can't watch Goju anymore because I feel sick when I think about the situation. I can't watch Zets at the moment because I feel sick thinking I'm doing something wrong. And Goju especially, I can't even. I want to watch the episode that Toei has come out with when I'm ready to, but I know I'm going to be angry. I know I'm going to hate it. I know I'm going to be so upset to see the absolute erasure of a strong character that everybody loved because of this situation. It sucks, but it is what it is, unfortunately, which I hate saying. Then with the agency. Agencies are supposed to be the best friend. They're supposed to be the helper. They're supposed to be the strongest stone, the shelf that allows them to stand tall. They're supposed to be stable. They're supposed to be secure. They're supposed to stand by their talent until the very end. Well, this talent agency failed Maya horrendously. Even when she first started getting hate and rumors about this affair, they didn't help her. Toei didn't either, in fairness, but the agency didn't help her. There was no support. There was no backlash. There was no, this is incorrect, nothing. She just had to dangle, waiting for the sharks to bite. No one helped her. And you'd think the agency would help her, but no. So when it came to she's drank, which is also something that was found by the tabloid, by the way, because they were scouring for information about her, they went, that's enough, goodbye. We were trying to get rid of her, goodbye. No second chances, no thoughts, no slap on the wrist, no apology. We're going to do better with our talent. No. Goodbye. And that's what's happened, which hurts. It's so upsetting. What a betrayal of trust. She had no one to support her. And that hurts. As a fan of her, but also as a woman, knowing that you're not supported by people who you think you trust, devastating. And on to the tabloid. This is going to be the one time I'm going to swear in this video, but fuck you. This tabloid wanted to drag her down, hated her, had a vendetta against her, has been searching for anything that she's done wrong, just to drag her down. They found information about this affair that has never been confirmed to be true. Where's the tabloid? Where is the information, huh? Where is the affair? Where's the picture of the affair? Show us. Also, where's the hate for him? Where's the hate for the guy who also did the affair? It's not just one person, 2 people. And they've been searching, oh my God, they've been searching for something bad for her to get rid of her. And as soon as they found a video of her drinking because of the absolute stress that she's been under, possibly, that was it. Gone. So I don't think Toei is in the wrong here because of how they acted about it. But legally, they couldn't do anything. The real villains here, unfortunately, are the agency and the tabloid. It's just so unfair. It's so unfair. I heard also, I can't remember if this is confirmed or if it was just another rumor, but apparently Toei is possibly doing legal action because they've had to re-record everything. They've had to delay schedules, delay recordings, delay other things, overwork their workers just to catch up with the week to week schedule of the show. And because of this crazy timeline of all of the events coming out all at once, they had to do it. So in a way, I hope they do press charges because I know it's a legal thing. And this contract of likeness or copyright of likeness, I keep repeating. People may not understand what that means, but what it means is basically she was contractually only used by people who had a contract with her agency. Her agency had the right to her face, to her voice, to her characters, to her in action in anything, basically. And because they fired her, Toei, who had the contract with the agency, no more rights, nothing. Hence why in the episode I've heard they've had to redo her voice with another actress, and how they had to cut her out of everything. Toei could have dealt with it better, but the agency did her dirty. And apparently they're only 3 years old. At this point, what are you doing? But ultimately, in all this situation, I just want to know who gave her the drink, where were the agency for that? Where were they? What allowed this to happen? Are you kidding me? How did she get a hold of it? How do they let this happen? How do they let this happen so far from the beginning of the show to now? I don't know. But her apology is so sad. I'm gonna read a little bit of it. I would like to sincerely apologize for the inconvenience and concern caused to many of you due to my indecent behavior. Drinking while being a minor is a very shameful act as an employee and as a human being, and I'm not acceptable for any reason. I painfully realize the gravity of my actions, and I'm deeply reflecting on it. Once again, I apologize to all my fans and associates who have supported me so far, and to all my performers and co-actors for the inconvenience caused. Throughout this case, I will reflect on myself as immature, accept the fact I have betrayed my trust, and sincerely reflect on my lifestyle so that I do not let this happen again. I am so sorry for this. She's 19. There are people who will still consider 19 as to be too young. You've got the whole rest of your life to live, to mature, to learn. We've all done things in the past that we're not really proud of, or that we want others to know. To live and to make mistakes is human. And depending on the thing you do, obviously you need to be treated or arrested or dealt with depending on what you do. But it's what you do from now on that fixes you or helps you to mature, to learn better, to change. And I think a lot of people forget that. And it's not just me who thinks this and mourns for her, or realizes that the agency and the industry as a whole is wrong. Actors from the past, past Sentai, past Kamen Riders, have come to the forefront with support for her. They have said how horrid this is. Where was the agency? The agency have done her wrong. Even actors, the heroes that we watch day to day or week to week, that we want to see climb the highest heights, have come out and said how wrong this is. If you genuinely think she did something wrong, that's on you. But these actors, I think it's like Kamen Rider Akito or Kamen Rider Ichigo, has come out and said how wrong this is. Just listen to the words, is all I say. And can I just also mention how there's been actors in in Toku that have caused or affected people worse, have actually done crimes, the blackface, the racist remarks, stealing money from elderly people. Where's the hate for that? By the way, all those crimes were done by men. But when women are being sexually assaulted, or women are being harassed, or when women are thrusted with fake allegations with affairs or sexual harassment, like Aguilera from Kamen Rider Revice, nothing's done. Nothing's done. That says a lot to me. And it should say a lot to you, especially if you follow my channel. And now Western fans are being called out for pointing out things. Like, I don't understand. I don't. But maybe you say that I'm connecting too much to Maya in this. Maybe I've been trying to write this correctly in my head for the last couple days to get all my points out, but also to say it correctly. Finding ways to not offend the angry, but also to not let those who watch me down. The women and men and all those in between who listen to my words and hear something that connects to them. But I feel like I connect to her and her struggles a little bit. I connect with her because she's the only woman in the team. I connect with Goju Unicorn because of her bravery, her strength, her will of life. But I also connect with Maya because of her pain, what she goes through. And I think I connect to her also because on the smallest scale, nothing like her being kicked out of a TV show, but I've also been kicked out of a situation due to misunderstandings, miscommunication, misogyny and hate. And I know people are watching. But that's not me connecting to her pain like it's mine. I have my own pain. She has hers. And I hope she can deal with it. I hope she gets better. I hope she feels the support from everyone around the world that still love Maya Imamori and still loves Goju Unicorn. Overall, this is not just Maya. It's the destructive and misogynistic industry that we watch every day because we love the content that they make. But this does happen. And that's why I will be talking about this company till the end, in the light of my females video, where I talk about the skirts and why it's skirts. If I ever talk about gojuger again on my channel, it will only be in a critical way, seeing how they fix this mess, how they looked at gojuger from now on. Did they fix it? Did they not? Who replaced her? What's the situation around it? But I will not be watching gojuger again on my reactions. Thomas and Marcus agree. As Tomkatsu, we will not be watching gojuger again, if not to criticize the heck out of it. I mean, that's what we do always, but you know what I mean. But a message to Maya Imamori, I'm sure she will never see this, but please know, Maya Imamori, you have fans in the West who grieve your loss, who grieve that you are not there in the show anymore, who feel affected personally by your disappearance because they love your character, but also they love you. The people who have done fan art shouldn't be ridiculed because of their love for her. They do it because they want to show that there's so much more to this than just drinking. And those who only see the drink and blame her for it, look into it more. But for now, Thank you so much for listening. As I promised, this video will not be monetized. This video will not be edited. It's just me and my camera. And hopefully Maya on the other side, but if not, that's fine. Just know that I will always stand behind Maya Imamori. And I will always talk about the injustice that she, along with many others, have dealt with. I just want people to remember that she's also human. Maya Imamori isn't just Goju Unicorn. She is something so much more. She's a human being. She's a woman. She is growing into her own life. She's a powerful woman. And people love to see the downfall of a powerful woman. Because it makes them feel strong? I don't know. Anyway, that'll be me for now. Thank you for listening.